Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 196. And Aaron, some games going on the past week, and not a whole lot has changed. Now, if I recall, when we had the previous show, you were hoping that this would be the beginning of something good for the Sharks. They were on an 8-game losing streak. They've since extended that to another, not just another 11-game losing streak. I think, honestly, it's almost impressive.
Yeah. Can you imagine if it was the other way around? 2 11-game winning streaks in the same season? 2 11-game losing streaks. That's so bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. I was looking at the stats or the standings today, and I was like, man, to get to that 68 points now, they're going to have to go on a tear, and that's not going to happen. So 68 is outright gone. It's
again, we've had the whole Paulstradamus thing a few times around so far this season. I think that's one of them I'm definitely going to hit on is the inability to get to 68. I think it's definitely going to be in the under. And I think that even Chicago is looking like they might be under too.
I was going to say Chicago now with all their injuries they just got. Bedard's going to be out for, what is it, 4 to 6 weeks or longer, 6 to 8 weeks? Because he broke his jaw. I mean, on top of that, breaking your jaw, your jaw's going to be wired shut, and you're going to be having nothing but a liquid diet. So he's going to be losing what little weight he had on him anyway. And it's not going to, it doesn't come back overnight. You're not going to be able, I guess he could skate, but just not getting the nutrition that you're going to get or enough to sustain. You can only get so much liquid in your body to sustain what you have, let alone, or not gain anything, but just keep what you have, and it's not going to happen. So Chicago, he's not the only one injured either. They have, I think, 7 guys out. They have more than the Sharks, which is really bad. Plus the Corey Perry incident. He's not even on the team anymore. But, that's just another NHL body. They're missing about 7 NHL players out of their lineup, and they don't have many replacements. In fact, they had just, this doesn't need to be a Blackhawks show, but they had just claimed one guy off of waivers, and I think traded for like a bag of pucks just to get warm bodies in the organization because they're just so devastated right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. So again, I think it's the under on 68 is looking pretty good right now. So if you guys were with me at the beginning of the season, you said the under. I think we're looking mighty fine. So there you go. The Sharks, back to these guys though. My goodness, second time an 11-game losing streak so far this season, and we're how many games in? Under 40 still.
At 40.
We're exactly at 40. And 2 11-game losing streaks in like less than half the season is bonkers.
More than half the games.
It's bonkers.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
It is bad. I'd like to say there is some hope, which we'll get into in a little bit, but slight hope, I guess.
Okay.
Because their captain is coming back.
Oh,
so that's going to help them tremendously. But they're not going to reverse that and go on 2 11-game winning streaks at any point in this season. I would be happy if they got. I think we talked about this earlier, right? 3, right?
You wanted 3.
If there's, I said there will be a 3-game winning streak. I still stand by that. The NHL is very weird. Things happen even at the end of the season when, the teams that are in the playoffs and they're locked, they're going to bench a lot of their guys. The Sharks are going to be playing their young guys. You never know what can happen. The NHL is very weird. Hey. They do have 7 regulation wins, so there's 7 teams that lost to this pathetic Sharks team.
Not in a row. It's sporadic.
Yeah.
That's the word to use, dude. So anyway, we'll just start kicking it off with the games here. Actually, before we do that, I want to say again, thank you so much to everybody who's there in the chat, going and typing away. Appreciate you guys being here. But let's see if we can get some more folks in here as well. Please, if you can, share, retweet, repost, whatever it is to get more folks in here. If they're your Sharks friends and family and you're enjoying the show, pretty sure that they would like it as well. So, there we got confetti stuff going on. I love this. I love when he does this. Super producer Jason, by the way, has put in a little bit more work here and there to the things that are going on the set. Like these,
bubbles?
The clown stuff going on.
Clowns?
I think it's clown heads. Yes. So There you go. We have lots of fun new things that are he's playing around with. Expect to see strangeness throughout the show. Regardless, if you can go ahead and share that with your other Sharks friends and family, they would also like to see the strangeness, I'm sure. So there you go. Aaron, let's go ahead and just start kicking this off here. So the Sharks play against Detroit in San Jose. It's a big fat L, of course, because the Sharks are doing nothing but losing right now. A 5-2 loss.
Yeah. This was another game that I think the Sharks kind of let get away. This is the game that they could have won, but obviously they did not. And it's kind of frustrating, and it adds up when you get close. And I'm trying to remember at the end of this game how this happened. I think there was the Sharks were up 3-2, right?
Sorry, yeah, a 5-3 loss is what I meant to say.
Yes,
they were. Yeah,
they were up 3-2 in the third period. Barabanov scored with 10 minutes left in the game. Halfway through the third period, they have a lead, and they can't hold on to it and give up. One was an empty netter, so they gave up 2 goals. It just can't happen. It's like when the Sharks scored and they got the lead, the Red Wings are kind of like, oh, wow, we're going to lose the Sharks. We need to turn things on and get this going, and we're going to have a bag skate tomorrow. So they definitely got motivated and took it to the Sharks. And I don't know if you remember the goals, but excuse me, it was kind of the guy who was a Perron scored both of them. One of them was a one-timer, I believe. The shot came. It was on the power play, and I remember it was Zetterlund that just for the split second didn't really have his eyes on the passing lane. He didn't close the passing lane down. Cross ice passed. Perron one-timed it from the face-off circle, kind of Ovi's office area, and scored. That was the tying goal. And then the winning goal was him standing in front of the net, I believe, and they passed it across to him, and he kind of, I think it was more of a tip-in on that one. It's kind of a weird play, but can't tie up. Oh, no, it went off the skate, right? I think it went off the defenseman's skate. So just a bad luck goal on a team, and again, you create your own luck by working hard. This team is not skilled enough to win on skill. They're only going to win on hard work, and they need to figure that out. And this is what David Quinn has been preaching to them and yelling at them and telling them that there is no easy wins in the NHL. You need to work for everything, and this team is not talented enough to win on talent alone. Whereas the Sharks in years past, maybe a decade ago, were talented enough, and that was kind of their problem, is they relied too much on their talent to win, and they could. And so that kind of created bad habits, and then it gets to the playoffs, and we all know the Sharks haven't won to stay in the cup. So this, I was thinking about this earlier. Sorry, my throat's getting dried out. Right now the Sharks, yes, they're in a rebuild. It is they're building the foundation right now. You create hardworking atmosphere, and then you start adding in players that do have skill, but you're creating the ethic in them, the work ethic, right? And they're working hard. They're going to work their tails off. They're going to seeing these guys like Nico Sturm, like all these other guys that are working hard, Logan Couture.
Ferraro.
This is exactly what Eklund's trajectory is right now, is going up, because he's seeing all these guys and how to be a professional. Now, Eklund is a very high-skilled player, but he's working his tail off to become a more well-rounded and an everyday NHL player, not just a sniper, if you will, or a playmaker. He's more of a playmaker. But round out his game, and he's going to last in the NHL and have a much longer career. All these little things get passed down from the veterans down to the young guys. This is kind of what the Sharks are going for in a way. Right. This is also why the Sharks are not good, because they don't have enough skilled players in there to win on skill alone on most nights. And so when things break down and they're not working hard, this is the product of what we're seeing. This is why David Quinn is trying to get them to really pull up their bootstraps in a way and put on their hard hats and get to work.
And those young guys that take those cues from the veterans that are currently on the team, they become the future leaders. And so that permeates down to all of the other younger prospects, or even the guys that come in from other teams through trades or free agency and whatnot. They come into the locker room and they kind of take a back seat to the way that room works, right? So when you've got guys like Sturm passing the work ethic down to guys like Eklund, and then Eklund becomes one of the star players, one of the leaders on the team. When you get newer guys come into that locker room, be them veterans or draftees or something, those guys will start taking cues from the new leadership core, which I'm assuming will be including William Eklund. And one of the guys, I think I saw someone on Twitter or X was putting up something about his his GM mode team, and it took the Sharks until 2033 to win.
Was he just simulating, or
I don't know.
actively?
I'm assuming he was simulating because that's 10 years of playing the game and you can't win. Yeah, anyway, so it took him until 2033 to win, and it was under Captain William Eklund. Yeah.
Oh, so he was the captain.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see who he got in this year's draft, because that's like the only draft that's the real players, right?
I have no idea what the
no in
10 years from now
in the NHL. No. Like when you do a season in your GM mode, you only get one season of real players that are incoming.
Oh no! There's a handful because they have the OHLers and everything. They have all the
real
juniors.
Life,
yeah,
real
they
have
the real junior guys. Yeah.
So what? 4 years out?
Probably a solid 4 years or so worth of players. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, anyway, that was a little bit of a tangent, but that's all right. So
it's been a while since we played on.
It has been a really long time, actually. Yeah. So the Sharks lose to Detroit at home. You had a note here saying 2 power play goals against, and one of them was a weak goal against by Kahkonen. That was the one off the foot, I'm assuming.
I believe that wasn't his fault.
You're
that
saying
was off
by
of
Kahkonen. It was a weak goal that Kahkonen let in.
The second goal, I think it was.
Okay.
Who was it? I think it was Comfer. JT Comfer. It was kind of a fluke goal in a way. Like, it was basically hit right towards him, and I think he got handcuffed. Like, it was just in that weird spot and snuck in. And it was like, just deflating.
But would you say this was even? I mean, despite the score, again, there was an empty netter, right? Mm-hmm. So 4 goals against. 2 of them were power play goals. Would you say that this was at least a good game by Kahkonen?
Kahkonen, I think, other than that one goal, you take away that one that snuck by him, he's going to want that one back for sure.
Okay.
I thought he had a strong game. I think Kahkonen is, in the last 2 months, Blackwood's been great, but I think Kahkonen has been better.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm going with this too. Now is this game's over. We're gonna say Kahkonen played well. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next game here is against Winnipeg. Now, the last time we played Winnipeg, we beat them, but that was obviously 11 or I guess in this case 9-10 games ago.
Yeah. Before, it's been a while. Right. Yeah.
So we lose to them by a score of 2-1, right? The Sharks actually go up. Again, another theme of the Sharks having a lead and then squandering it, unfortunately. Yep. They go up 1-0, and they just can't seem to hold on. In fact, it was like right after they had scored this goal. It was like, yeah, we scored a goal. Awesome, great. Yeah, we're feeling good about ourselves. And then they go out and they score on them.
It was a minute 22 later.
There you go.
I just looked at the times, yeah.
It's incredible. It's like you can't hold on to that, like, whoo, good job feeling, you know?
It's the next shift.
It is.
I feel like that's the problem with the Sharks is the next shift after a goal scored against or a goal scored for. There's a big pushback by the other team whenever there's a goal scored either way. And they haven't been able to match it. And that's been a problem this season. I remember seeing a stat, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that maybe a week ago, I think it was Shang that put it up there, that it was the 15th time that the Sharks gave up a goal in the last minute or two of the period. That was also another problem that I'm seeing. Just kind of, probably relaxing just a little bit, right? Yep. Not finishing your shifts, finishing your play or whatever, your check, and it goes in the back of the net.
See, because again, you're not good enough to take that little bit of a break, right? You're not good enough to have that one little bit of a break, just a breather right before the period ends, and be able to keep the puck out of the net. You do that, and again, the talent level is not quite there. It's probably going to go in. So yeah, absolutely, they cannot have those where they just kind of relax on the play and hope that it's just going to work out in their favor, because more often than not, and we've seen it time and time again, it simply doesn't. But so this one here, it was interesting. So Velarde scored. I think it was Velarde scored on a shot pass from Ehlers to make it 2-1. That was the game-winning goal, the eventual game-winning goal. Yeah. But this play, when I went back and looked at the replay again to take a look at the highlights and everything else, we look at the highlights of the games before we do shows to kind of get a refresher on this stuff. And it was like a mirror image of the World Junior goal. From Smith to I can't remember his name. Maybe it's Perot. I don't know. But it was like a mirror image of the shot pass that Smith had. And we'll talk about that one a little bit later on anyway. But I just thought it was really interesting that is a commonplace thing in the NHL is to rip that puck just a little bit wide to the guy that's waiting back door and just tap it in.
I think it's a smart play.
Absolutely.
It's kind of the evolution of what the power play became. Remember when Brent Burns and Pavelski were on the team? Burns would shoot it, right? And Pavelski would be right in front of the goalie and tip it in. Now defenders are kind of prepared for that, and so now the player is going just off to the side a little bit. Where okay, what's the defender supposed to do? Block the shot or stay with the stay with the forward, right? Well, you can't do both. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the evolution, I think, on power plays and goals. I've seen a lot of goals scored against the Sharks this way too. I don't know what you call that. It's not quite a tip-in. It's
a shot pass to a redirect. Really
okay, redirect. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Because it's not so much a tip. A tip would be kind of like, again, the Joe Pavelski thing, right? Where they're firing it and he's either knocking it down or you kind of angle your blade and it ramps up.
I feel like that's a higher skill than what they're doing on the back door, because the back door you can have your skates facing the goal. You have a bigger target in a way from the passer to get it to there. So I'm seeing a lot more of that happen. We saw it in the World Juniors, and it's very difficult to defend against. It's smart. It's a smart play, in my opinion, because you have to honor the goalie has to honor the shooter, and now you honor the shooter. They're not going to be able to even deflect that pass that's just out of their reach and that's wide open. Yeah, and they're just tapping it in
because they're covering the net and the shot's going deliberately wide of the net. So there's only so much you can do. You really do have to rely on your defender, and in this case, the Sharks just don't quite have it this season. So. I mean, again, we talk about how Mike Grier is looking for these guys that are the hardworking types, and I certainly think that he's got that, but there is a skill level differential, right? And again, it's one of the things that Coach Quinn had talked about, and a little bit of a hat tip there to Sheng Peng, who's one of the guys that does the articles, and we got that information from them. So just wanted to say thank you for that information again, Sheng. Appreciate you, buddy. But the point of this game for me was to really draw attention to the fact that Mackenzie Blackwood deserves better. He deserves better. This guy put up 28 saves on 30 shots for a .933 save percentage. Several of the saves, spectacular variety, right? I mean, it's not like he's just standing there, shoot in the chest, cover up the logo, and you're good. I mean, this guy's sprawling all over the place, making saves, keeping the Sharks in this game where they don't belong. Frankly, they just did not belong in this game. But Mackenzie Blackwood, again, absolutely standing on his head. Now, can you imagine if Mackenzie Blackwood was the goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers right now?
I think Edmonton Oiler fans would love it.
Are you kidding?
I think the New Jersey Devil fans would love it. They're having a terrible goaltending right now.
To be fair, the Devils have got a laundry list of injuries too.
Yeah, but their goaltending's been atrocious all season. That's been the mainstay and throughout the whole season. It's kind of like Martin Jones going on a tear and being one of the players of the month this month or week. I can't remember. He got named one of the stars of the week. Because he's been playing very well in Toronto, but he's in spurts.
He played very well for San Jose in spurts too.
Exactly. Blackwood, though, I think he knew what he signed up for signing with the San Jose Sharks. He knew he was going to get playing time. He knew it was redemption season. He knew he's probably going to get traded at some point. He's not going to be a part of the rebuild, most likely. There's a chance he could be, but most likely he's playing for his next contract.
See, and Peter St. John just had a comment up on their screen here that said that was a great game by Blackwood. Peter, while I agree with you, it was a great game, it's been a great season so far for Mackenzie Blackwood. He's done really well. Now, you can take a look at the stats and maybe say otherwise just by the numbers, but when you watch the guy play the game, he is, I mean, he's dialed in. The puck may get past him now and then, but he's dialed in. The guy's ready to go.
I feel more confident with him in goal than Kahkonen. I like Kahkonen. I think he's turning it around and he's playing very well. It's hard to notice when they're on an 11-game losing streak to say that the goaltending is great, right? It's really hard. It's really difficult. But when you look at the actual stats and you're watching the game and you're seeing they give the Sharks a chance to win almost every night. I want to say every night. Almost every night, because there's some blowouts in there. There's some nights they're just off. Blackwood was just sick and came back, and he was like the first game back. He was a little bit off, not bad, but you could tell the energy level is just when you're talking about a game of inches, you're just slightly off like that. Yeah. Like look at last week's, was it Lyon who stopped that puck? Mike Hoffman did the Forsberg, right? Yeah. And he just stopped it with the skate, like the tip of his skate on top of the puck. We're talking a game that's like less than an inch. Yeah. If that puck is over just a little bit more, it's going in, and then it's highlight reel goal, ESPN all the way. And he stopped it with his skate, which is probably still highlight reel.
Was it the skate blade?
The blade, the tip.
So like
The toe
So-
was on top of the puck and stopped it. I'm not kidding.
So
it was ridiculous.
If they did a couple more passes on that blade to sharpen it, that goal goes in, is what you're saying, huh?
In fact, it was the Detroit game. It was this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he was an inch shorter, that's a goal. For a game of inches. It's ridiculous how close everything is.
Yeah. So moving on, we play the Toronto Maple Leafs for the historic 11th loss in a row.
Ugh.
The second time this season. This is the game where we get it.
Poetic Justice will be beating them in Toronto.
Yeah. Okay, that'd be actually good. I want to hear from you guys. Put it in the comments, and maybe we'll see where it goes from there. Do you think the Sharks will get off the 11-game skid against the same Toronto Maple Leafs that put them on that 11th game? So,
Kellen, it's not hard to notice the goalie performance when watching the game. It's hard to notice on the score sheet.
yeah.
That's true.
That's just it. Yeah. When you're watching the game, like I said, dialed in. I mean, they're all over the place. They're doing acrobatic saves as best they can to try to to will the Sharks to getting out of the basement, out of the cellar, out from underneath the bedrock, right? But the Sharks just can't seem to reciprocate that effort on the other end of the ice.
You're getting called out by CJ. Paul needs to get a laptop on the set. He's going to interact with the comments more.
Wow. So I've got Aaron here to do the comment
Paul,
stuff. So if
Paul
Aaron
doesn't know how to work.
Oh no,
keyboard.
Paul knows how to work. Trust me. But this thing here, I've got Aaron here to do it for me. So if you'd like me to interact with a comment, there's a couple things you could do. One, you could use the super chat function. What a segue, by the way.
Yeah, nice.
I'm so good
You're
at this. This is
welcome.
what I bring to the show.
I threw out the softball for you.
So this is what you can do. You can support the show with the super chat function, or you can use Venmo at the Fin Factor. Any comment you leave in there, I will definitely see because the alarm bells will be going off. I don't know if these things will change green or not. Super producer Jason, it might. But if you go ahead and do that, we'll go ahead and read.
I think it should go red and go red alert, red like just go crazy.
So.
I think it'd be funny.
I think it's a horrible idea. But if you put that in your comment, we will read red alert out loud if that's what you want. So there you go. And it's a great way to support the show. Also, the other way you can support the show is if you go to thefinfactor.com and pick up any of the merchandise that we have there under the support the show link. We got hats, sweatshirts, water bottles. We're out of fanny packs. There's the toaster. We don't have a sticker on the toaster, though. No. Where's the sticker?
It's a different toaster.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, he got a new toaster. So Aaron's going to visit the store, pick up a new sticker for that toaster, and there you go.
CJ, also got to give major props to the super producer, Jason. The camera work, editing, and graphics are sublime. Always great work. Yes, thank you. Thank you for making us look like we know what we're doing. This is fantastic.
No clue what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here looking at a red light and a camera.
Clearly.
So that's how we do it. So you, too, can work under super producer Jason and look as fantastic as I do. Sorry, and Aaron. So,
wow.
There you go.
Nice save.
Okay, so Sharks against Maple Leafs.
Off the rails already.
Speaking of rails, we got railroaded.
Yes.
Absolutely railroaded in the first period. I mean, statistically, it was a nightmare for the Sharks. We got, outshot, outchanced, outpossessed, outworked, out-hustled, outclassed. We were lucky to get out of the first period down by 1.
Wow. Yeah. But they did turn it around.
They did
after that break.
Absolutely.
After the first period. I can't imagine the amount of foul language in that locker room. I had to be careful what I said there.
So foul, we wouldn't be able to say it super chatted on this show.
Right.
So.
I'm sure David Quinn tossed some garbage cans and made it be known that their lives will not be fun the next day if they don't put in some effort. So
kick the garbage.
They did turn it around, and let me look at the shots here. Like in the second period,
we just stunk.
Second period, it was 9-8 Sharks. They did outshoot them, and then the third, it was 12-8.
Yeah.
So that's a respectable against Toronto, a good team that they came back against them, but they didn't score until the very end, which kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But Granlund getting another one. Granlund's having a heck of a season.
He is very much looking forward to getting traded. Absolutely. And I don't blame him at all, by the way. That's good for you, buddy.
You got to play your way off this team. That's what Mike Greer said.
Most guys are trying to play their way to the next contract that they would get for that team, or give them a reason to want to re-sign and extend.
He's got 2 more years at $5 million. That's not terrible.
2 more years?
Well, this season and next season.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. He's got 2 years total.
2 years left.
Yeah, okay.
This year and next year. He'll be UFA. He's going to be a fantastic pickup next year as a rental player. Because that $5 million by the end of the season, by the trade deadline, will be much less. And every team's going to want Granlund.
I mean, he keeps playing the way he's playing. Isn't he worth $5 million?
He's a great penalty killer.
Yeah.
On a good team, I think third line center or even winger. If they already have a third line center, he'd be a fantastic winger to add there to jump in the faceoffs if that first center gets kicked out.
I mean, look, if you're a team, maybe the Devils that have some forwards that are out, right, that aren't doing too well right now, maybe it makes sense to pick this guy up, plug him into your lineup where he plays a little bit higher in the lineup to start, and then as they come off of injury, you bump him down to that third line.
What kind of return would you want? Like maybe something like Timo or something coming back here? Had to do it.
Oh, Aaron's got the jokes tonight. I see how it is. Okay, all right. Both sides of the table are working. Well done. Well done. Yeah, thank you. Do we have any what do you call it, sound effects for that one, Super Producer Jason? Or do we just have clown emojis that can fly? There it is. There's the clown
That's
emojis.
what the clowns are for. It all comes together.
All right. So, yes, they got better as the game went on, but still end up losing the game by a score of 4-1. We have some other Leaf news that we're going to try to tie this into the Sharks in some way, shape, or form. The Maple Leafs have just extended William Nylander for 8 more years at a familiar $11.5 million a year. Where have we seen this before?
I don't know. I think we just got rid of that problem.
I think so. Now, here's the thing. They don't seem to care about that problem because next year, thank you, Nick HBK150, for bringing this to my attention. Next year, when the salary cap goes up and his new salary kicks in, that's 53% of their salary cap in 4 players. Not just 4 players, but as you mentioned, 4 forwards.
Yeah, it's just so weird to me. I don't get it. How are they going to afford to pay Noah Gregor? I don't get it. What are they doing? What are they doing? They're running out of room. Actually, on a serious note, they're going to be full of players like Noah Gregor because they can't afford anyone else.
So here's the thing. Noah Gregor was playing on the first line for a short bit there, and he was getting some stats. He was getting it done with the top boys, I thought, is what it was.
When there was injuries.
Okay,
he was filling in.
Their injuries, he was filling in. Now, what happens when he's playing on the third line with a bunch of other Noah Gregors? He goes right back to being a less than 10 goal scorer, and you know it.
It's only next season that's going to be bad.
Okay.
Because both Tavares and Mitch Marner come off after next season.
Did they come off, though?
Yeah, they're UFAs in 2 seasons. No, but my point is they're not going to sign Tavares.
Okay.
He'll be gone. That's $11 million back.
Yeah.
That they're basically giving Tavares's salary just a year early.
Yeah.
In fact, his doesn't kick in until next season. So next season's the only year where they're kind of going to be where they are today. The cap's going to be worse for them. But Bertuzzi comes off at $5.5 million, and Max Domi comes off at $3 million. That's $8.5 million. You could split $8.5 million up to get some Michael Granlund type players for cheaper than his $5 million.
They might be Michael Granlund, or they could be Oscar Lindblom.
But they can get They could get some projects like Michael Granlund that comes in.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to pause what we're talking about for just a second here because CJ is throwing up some nice tweets. Jeez, man. Some nice comments for us. Super Duper Jason, can you go back to the first one? There you go. You guys have created something very special, and it's been fun to see how far the Fan Factor has come. All the inside jokes, hot takes, and great graphics makes us a blast to be a part of every week. And then he put one more thing up there. But there it is. Toasters, body tingles. Noah Gregor hitting the glass. We just stunk. I love this show. CJ, again, man, this is why we do the show right here. I could just talk to Aaron if I really wanted to about all the stuff that we talk about right here. But the fact that we get to share it with other Sharks fans and you guys are in here having a blast, having a good time. The fact that we have subscribers and likes and all that stuff is great. But honestly, this for me is why we do the show. It's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it. And again, a big part of that has to do with the community that, sure, we have built, but really you guys have built. And Super Producer Jason, of course, right, with the set and everything else and making us look good and doing all the production stuff and all the man. But really, again, thank you, CJ, for the heartfelt sentiment. We do appreciate it, and it certainly makes doing this just that much more fun and easier to do. So again, thank you, CJ. I appreciate that. Okay. That was cool. It was just a good moment.
Yeah.
I am. My heart is full, CJ. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Aww.
Aww.
So cute.
I don't know if we have any heart emojis. Can you throw some hearts on the screen? Super CJ? No, it's just clowns, huh?
Clowns.
Oh, jeez.
The clowns have hearts in their eyes.
All right. So we're essentially done with that, except for the fact that Sharks fans did want Nylander to come to San Jose. Obviously, that's not happening now.
No.
But I guess that kind of begs the question, would you have wanted Nylander to come here for $11.5 million a year? Because we just went through this, as you said, with Erik Karlsson. We were super excited to have Erik Karlsson on the team. Now, little did we know, obviously.
Can you imagine if we did sign Nylander this summer, right, to $11 million?
Yeah.
I mean, the Sharks are going to have a ton of space, so it's not that's the problem. You sign Nylander, then you have Will Smith probably joining the team. You already have Eklund, who's ready to go. Mm-hmm. You're going to have maybe Celebrini, someone top-notch that's coming in that might or might not play next season, depending on the talent and all that. This team will be very different just from that one player being signed.
Yeah.
That's what can happen. Now, I'm not expecting a home run like Nylander. They're not going to spend $11 million. Not yet.
Right.
They're probably a couple years away from that now. But to change, it all depends on how the players are developing in the system, how ready they will be for next year, if they're ready next year for the Sharks, and also picking up one or two of those big name UFA free agents.
Yeah.
It's a completely different team. And I'm not going to say playoff team, but they'll be better than
You're a bubble
40
team.
points.
Yeah. You'd be a bubble team at that point, I think. Yeah.
You have your goaltenders finally solidified.
Yep.
I think Kahkonen might not be here next season. We'll see. But one of the two I think would be here, Blackwood or Kahkonen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of solidified. Then you have your forwards, I feel like, are getting a little bit better and a little bit more solidified. Here you have a bunch of guys coming off the books, especially forward-wise. There's going to be a big change. Next year's going to look so different with LeBanc, Hoffman, Duclair, Barabanov, Justin Bailey, Ryan Copponer, all UFAs. That's a lot of guys. It's a lot.
Yeah. So I think we've got some notes about the amount of people that are coming off the books next season, a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, absolutely. You just named off a whole bunch of guys that, in my opinion, some of them I wouldn't mind them going and being recycled.
Yeah.
Right. I have no problem with
Recycled.
a Kevin LeBanc. I'm sorry.
Terrible term, but
I'm
okay.
sorry. we recycle going through the system again.
Right.
Right. New
Not
life.
to the Sharks.
New life.
Going to another team.
Yeah, being cycled again through recycled.
Sure. Or just some guys signing elsewhere.
I'm saying they're made out of plastic. I'm just saying. They just go through
Glass?
this. Yeah,
They're
get
made out
out.
of glass?
Yeah, some of them are. Havlat was made out of glass.
Oh.
Anyway, and then I have one other question that's Leaf related.
Sure.
How happy would you be? I don't know. I would be. How happy would you be to help the Toronto Maple Leafs out with their cap situation by making a trade that brings Mitch Marner into?
Mitch Marner, I think, would be interesting, and he is the one that is. Is he up? I just closed it, didn't I? Oi. He's up in 2 years. So that would be interesting if they signed him as a free agent in 2 years.
I feel like something could be done there where there's another guy who has 2 years left on his contract who makes significantly less, but is still able to play third, second line center that plays for the Sharks. Granny Smith. I think that would be a good building block, start of the building blocks of a trade right there. Granlund on this side, Marner on this side, pump something up over here to make it.
There's going to be a lot more pumped up
I'm
on
just saying. I'm just saying. But it helps them out with the cap situation too.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, if they need it. If they want it.
I'm just saying.
I think it would be more of Ferraro going than Granlund.
Sure.
I think they need more defensive help than more forwards.
Absolutely.
I see what you're saying. I just don't see them trading Mitch Marner. I see them... Because they're going to be in a playoff team. It would be weird for them to get rid of Mitch Marner.
Right now, yeah, absolutely.
Even next season in his last year, saying they want to get rid of it because they wanted something for rather than nothing.
Right.
You know? If anything, it would be an off-season trade where he's about to become UFA and they trade his rights to the Sharks to sign him.
Right.
That, like, before the deadline, before July 1st. That's more of a likely scenario. I just lost my voice.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. I'm going to make you talk anyway.
I just, to me, I would be more, I think more realistic would be him signing as a free agent.
Yeah.
And when he hits free agency. He's probably going to want to shop around because he's going to want to get top dollar. And that's when the cap is really going to go up even more. So you're going to see more of these $11 million deals.
I'm just trying to stir the pot, Aaron. Because when we talk about Toronto, people always focus on Toronto.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to stir the pot a little
Now
bit.
it would be interesting. Would you want John Tavares?
No.
Not for $11 million, obviously. What
no,
if he signed
because
for
we
$5
already
million?
offered you money.
Yeah.
You turned us down because you wore Toronto Maple Leaf pajamas as a kid.
That was
okay.
That was the Doug Wilson era.
I don't
Very
care.
different time.
Whatever. Mitch Marner works harder, and that's what Mike Grier is looking for. You know it. I know it. Y'all know it. It's what it is.
I'm just stirring the pot.
I'm stirring the pot.
We should get a cauldron right here.
That's
in the middle.
right. Just stirring the pot.
I'm going to stir the pot today.
All right.
More inside jokes.
Speaking of Toronto, I believe this is hometown. Logan Couture is coming back very soon. Now he's participating in practices. He's doing power play now. I remember last time I said this. That's a big deal. Exactly. Last time I said this, I saw him at practice, but he wasn't partaking in the power play drills because he wasn't going to be playing. And so it didn't make sense for him to practice on the power play, let the power play unit do their thing. Well, now he's partaking in the power play drills. He's taking hits as well. He even scored a goal. And again, hat tip to Sheng Peng, who we read reporting back that he was like, yeah, it's we're going to count that one. That's the first one of the season. We're going to count that. So and he's like, yeah, now it's just about getting goal number 2. So his first real goal of the season is what he was looking for. So, Logan sounds like just about ready to come back and play for the Sharks. Now
he is on the trip.
He's on the trip.
He's on the trip.
But he's not playing against Toronto.
No,
he already said.
Ready.
Yeah,
he's not ready.
He already said he was disappointed that he wouldn't be able to play.
He probably wants another week of practice, like hard practice, full contact, everything before whatever his injury is, and he tests it out.
I mean, you miss almost literally half the season. I would want to, give it a little bit more time as well. But yeah, the 41st game, I guess, would be the game in Toronto.
Yeah.
And of course, since Toronto's East Conference, we only play them twice, so he'll have missed both opportunities to play against that hometown team. So too bad for him. But
maybe he can wear his pajamas.
Yeah. Are you trying to say Logan Couture for Mitch Marner? Is that what you're trying to do? Stirring the pot. Just stirring the pot. Okay, so what else about Logan Couture did you want to say here? I know we talked a little bit about him going on the trip, even though he's not going to play.
There was speculation that he was going to be joining the team for the next game when Studnicka was sent down. Studnicka?
Studnicka.
I'm never going to get these names right. I'm not going to work here anymore.
Mukhamadullin. Yeah. He knows how to do this. Sveshnikov.
So they had sent him down. Now, they sent him down because they claimed, or they didn't claim off of waivers. This is the whole interesting, the way that this works. And it kind of sucks for him because he was kind of a numbers game in a way.
Okay.
So when he was on Vancouver, he was sent down to the minors and had to clear waivers. People were like, why didn't the Sharks take him when he was on waivers? It could come for free. Instead, they traded a pick for him. Mm-hmm. This is why. Had they grabbed him off of waivers, they can't put him back on waivers, or Vancouver would just take him right back.
Right.
Or it could take him right back if they wanted to. But he would have to clear waivers again. If you don't have him in your lineup, like if he's not on the 23-person roster and he gets sent down, then I don't know if it's automatic. I could be wrong about that. But either way, you have to keep him in the NHL for 30 days or something like that. Because they traded for him, they didn't have to do that. And because he already cleared waivers with Vancouver after 9 games, at the 10th game, he would have to clear waivers again. The 9th game, he doesn't have to. So the Sharks quickly put him to the minors so they didn't have to clear waivers. He needed some work done anyway. Mm-hmm. He needed some work done, as in like he's getting his teeth cleaned. He needed to work on some parts of his game at the AHL level so that he could jump back in the NHL level, and he didn't have to clear waivers. That was the main reason. Now, it was kind of weird that they did it, but they didn't call anyone up at the same time. So everyone's like, oh, they're clearing space for possibly Couture to come off IR, and then he's going to join the 23-man roster. Right. Well, today they called up Scott Sabrin. So he is joining them for the trip to round out that 23 person reward for playing decently for the Barracuda.
Last couple games, yeah.
Most likely he's going to be on a flight back to San Jose once Couture comes back, or someone else will. Who knows?
Yeah.
Someone else could be sent down too. So, so they did call up somebody today. So that kind of went, oh, okay, he's obviously not going to be playing against the Toronto. I mean, they announced it, but you never know until like the roster's actually set and like the numbers are there now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna hold off because again, it's been so long. He's participated in just maybe a couple practices, doing power play, doing full hitting, doing all those things that you want a normal rostered player to do. Now, could Logan Couture just step in and just be an NHL player? Absolutely, he could. Do we really need to risk, re-aggravating something, or he's just a step behind and he gets a bad hit because he's in a bad position or something to that? Do we want to risk that with the captain who's already been out for the entirety of the season thus far? Nah, I don't think so. So I don't mind that they hold him out. And frankly, what's the rush in putting him back in anyway? I have no problem holding on to this guy until he's absolutely ready to go. This season's shot as it is. So, no concerns there about him jumping back in the lineup right away or whatever the case is. Peter St. John wants to know what Sturm's status is. I'm not sure what Sturm's status is. I know he's still injured, but you got something for him?
2 weeks ago, Curtis Pichalko of the Mercury News wrote this, that he had a procedure done on the inside of his hand last Friday, and this was dated December 21st, so before Christmas, to correct a problem that he has had for about a year. So something inside of his hand, maybe his wrist, maybe he had some wrist surgery. That's pure speculation. I don't know.
Oof.
But something in his hand. It was at the point where there was so much inflammation in there. Realistically, it probably would continue to miss games and then come back with treatment. It's just at the point where it's like, let's just bite the bullet and get it fixed.
Yeah.
The season's done.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, let's get it fixed so that next year you're going to be ready to go. He was I think one of the leading face-off guys. I'm sure face-offs had a lot to do with it, probably getting constantly slashed on his hands.
Yeah.
So he will be back. I'm sure he might be back this season.
I mean, I hope so. If for no other reason than the leadership qualities, frankly, right?
But he's week to week, so it's not long-term IR. It's not like the next person here, Matt Benning, who they just announced he's out for the season. I'm sorry, Paul. I know.
It's tough, buddy.
Single tier,
tough.
man.
It's
brutal.
It's rough, you know.
He is having hip surgery and he's gonna be out for 5 months. But again, gonna be ready for training camp next season. So get that stuff out of the way, get fixed up. We might see some more of that. I wouldn't be surprised if anyone has some kind of lingering stuff that needed surgery to get fixed, as opposed to just bandage for a game to keep it going.
Yeah, and again, there's no reason to keep an all-star like Matt Benning and try to put him back in the lineup.
Wow.
You laughing about?
Wow, nothing.
You gave my kids 2 sticks, okay?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know.
That's the going price to be an all-star, by the way, 2 sticks.
Matthias, I hope I'm saying that right. Matthias 94. Matthias?
Matthias.
He's
from Sweden.
From Sweden, okay. How did you guys come up with the name, the Fin Factor, and what does it mean, all the best from Sweden? Actually, I came up with the name.
We had a bunch of ideas.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Fear Factor.
I guess so. Maybe that was what was in my head.
We had so many ideas, and some of them were just absolute garbage.
Trash,
I would have to go back in the way back time machine to even look at what we had written down, because I don't remember. But Fin Factor won out over a couple other ones.
Yeah, well, obviously it went out, but I think it was, for some reason, the Fear Factor, if you remember with Joe Rogan, not his podcast, but like that show that they did a long time ago, it's probably on like MTV or some weird show like that. But anyway, that's probably what was going through my head for some reason. Not that I watched that show or anything, but that's what I wanted to go with was, Finn, obviously, for the Sharks. And little did we know that there was a kid who already had it on
I checked social medias. on Instagram, there's a little kid who is very young and has the handle The Fin Factor. So we're actually Fin Factor on Instagram, and we can't get...
And we are The Fin Factor everywhere else.
Yeah.
Why didn't we just do Fin Factor on everything else?
Because I think at that point we had already signed up everything, so it was too late. And we weren't thinking Instagram was even going to be anything 6 years ago. So whatever. Now we're over 1,000 followers, 1,100 followers.
By the way,
you should go follow us.
Yeah, thank you. You should go follow us. But the point of me saying, by the way, I wasn't saying you should go follow us. What was to say thank you for those 1,000 people that did. Now, if you're on Instagram and you enjoy this show, feel free to go on Instagram because we do post some shorts. Now we weren't doing this before, but with Super Producer Jason, Reels. Sorry, shorts are on YouTube. Shorts are YouTube and I think Facebook. And what I'm wearing
Reels
right now that you can't see, that's what shorts are. So there you go. The Reels that are on Instagram. So we've been doing those lately, and it's just nice little snippets, 30, 40-second snippets of the show that are just kind of fun. Usually it's something funny that we were saying on the show. So
yeah, there's a fun story about the Fin Factor name. We interviewed somebody earlier this season, actually, Dan Boyle, former Shark, who sat down with us. He's a great, awesome guy. We had a good, 10, 15 minutes with him. And he gets up and we say goodbye. This is off camera. We're saying goodbye and thank you and everything. And he goes, I love you guys.
On stream, he said it.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
On stream, he said, I love you guys. And, you guys have been doing this for a long time. And I'm thinking, okay, we've been doing it for a while, you know. He was, you guys have been doing it for a long time. I read all your stuff. And I'm going, whoa, time out. We don't write anything. We just talk. So I don't know. Where's he going with this? So he thought we were somebody else.
He thought we were Fear the Fin.
Yeah.
Right. So then afterwards, we corrected him. And he was like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. We're like, it's right. So he obviously read that stuff as a player because Finn, I don't think...
That's the takeaway. The players actually read some of this stuff.
Yeah. You know? So who knows how many actually watch our show.
I don't know. But if you are a Shark player and you happen to be watching the show, please reach out. thefinfactor@gmail.com. And if you'd like to set up any sort of interview, we'd be more than happy to do that. And we can go through any channel you need to with the Sharks brass to make sure everything is legit.
Another quick story about the name.
Fire away.
Do you remember the All-Star game?
Yes.
We were at the All-Star game?
Yes.
And we're at the media meet and greet. People thought we were a Finnish podcast with the Fin Factor.
That's right.
They thought it was... it wasn't Sharks related, it was Finnish hockey players related.
Finland.
Right.
Factor.
So they're like, are you guys from Finland? We're like, no.
Oh, yeah.
We're from San Jose.
That was probably not Finnish, and I apologize for anyone I've offended in Finland. Definitely there was somebody from Sweden here. Maybe that was your accent. I don't know.
That was awful.
That was awful? Sorry. Really bad. You know what that sounded like? It just hit me. That was Brody doing Thornton. Oh, yeah, but... That's what that was.
I think the Swedish chef, right?
Yeah. We talk about the Sharks in this show, right? Let's get back to that. So, I think where we were going... By the way, if you're new to the show, this is nothing new. We always go off the rails. Right. Yes. It's a lot of fun. So if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. You know when we're going live. That way you can partake in the silliness with the clowns. There it is. I knew it. I knew he was going to do it. Anyway, let's go back to what we were supposed to be talking about. We have a roll call question for you guys. So this is about Hertl being selected for the All-Star game. And so Aaron had this idea as a roll call question, so we'll go ahead and read this one out. Do you think... I'm sorry. First of all, where are you watching us from, right? And then do you think that Hertl should be the lone Sharks All-Star or someone else? Now, when you say lone Sharks All-Star, surely you don't mean that there are two players on this roster that deserve to be All-Stars.
No, I just meant is there someone else that was deserving to be the lone All-Star
of
the Sharks?
I want a clarification for the people. Now that we know that, I would like you guys to please put your response to that down in the comments below there. And also, of course, let us know where you're watching us from. There was, again, somebody, Matthias from Sweden was in there, so we know that he's there, which is great. But we've got people from all over the world that have tuned in, so we love seeing where you guys are from. So please make sure you add that in there as
Even
well.
if you're not watching us live, I'd love to see it in the
comments. Yeah, cool. Throw it in the comments, whatever. So yeah, Aaron, the fact that you even had this question tells me that maybe you think somebody else belongs there.
Well, if you go straight point per game, there's someone better than Tomas Hertl.
Okay.
Any ideas?
Well, it's either Granlund or Eklund.
Granlund.
Okay, I was going to
Zetterlund's. Actually, Zetterlund and Eklund are tied. Mm-hmm. Eklund's got one game less, so he actually has more points per game.
See, okay. I'll let you say your piece. Okay, you say your piece first. Granlund, go ahead, fire away. Why Granlund over Hertl?
I'm not saying Hertl is not deserving.
Okay.
He absolutely is deserving. I think his personality is great for the game because he's so funny, and not a lot of people outside of Sharks fandom know much about Hertl. He's been to the All-Star game before, and he had a great time, and people loved him. He was one of the highlights of the All-Star game that he went to years ago. And people were like, oh my gosh, this Tomas Hertl guy is pretty funny. He's pretty good. And he's a good player. Yeah, obviously. He's Jágr light in a way. He models his game after Jaromir Jágr, and you can't help but smile when you watch Tomas Hertl talk, because he constantly talks with a smile, even during an 11-game losing streak. So he is a great guy, and he's become kind of the pseudo-captain while Couture has been out, taking on a lot of the responsibilities. He does have the alternate captain, the A on his chest, but still taking over that captain role for the first half of the season. So, yes, outside of Hertl, I would say Granlund is the one that's deserving to go to the All-Star game.
Has Granlund ever been to an All-Star game? Because if not, I mean, that would actually be pretty sweet, is to have him represent himself, obviously, for the first time, and deservedly so. As you said, points per game, he's the highest on the roster right now.
Speaking of Finns,
he's Finnish. There you are. And he doesn't talk like this. Oh, yeah.
Circle. Yeah.
So your vote would be, if not Hertl, Granlund. But are you okay with Hertl, though? You like Hertl there?
Oh, I love Hertl there.
Okay.
Absolutely.
See, and I think Hertl makes the most sense because, again, I think he's got the personality for it, too. Mm-hmm. And the All-Star game, it should be about how good the player is, but sometimes it kind of transcends that, and it's more about the personalities. And
it absolutely is about the personalities.
I understand, but and you take a look at the most famous All-Star game with John Scott in it. I mean, he was a complete and utter goon, and that was probably the most fun 3-on-3 that I've ever watched.
There's also a lot of drama leading up to it that helped, I think, set the stage for a lot of people.
How could there not be? Just because of, obviously with him getting put down in the AHL, so technically you're not even on an NHL roster.
The shenanigans they were trying to pull.
That was so weak. Yeah. But you know what? I think even with that stuff aside, if you just knew who John Scott was, just the fact that he was not an all-star player. He had 2 goals on the season, which doubled his career total.
But there's a lot of personalities like that would have been the same. Like Paul Bissonnette's another one. He's a great commentator on TNT, but is he an all-star? No.
No, but I wouldn't mind that being more the focus. These good personalities, having a good time, making it fun. Because honestly, the high school players playing in the 3-on-3s, does anybody care?
No.
Nobody watches it and cares, right?
It's funny. Should the All-Star game include the worst goalies in the league instead of the best goalies in the league? What?
That's the all-falling star team.
Or you take the All-Stars for the teams that are at the bottom, you take their goalies. Not necessarily bad goalies.
I don't know where you're going with this, to be honest.
You take, let's say,
so that they can score more goals?
They look at the standings right before the All-Star game. They go, okay, these bottom 4 teams, we're taking your goalies for the All-Star game. So there's more goals. Why not?
Yes. Well, it's funny that you say that.
It's a terrible idea.
It's funny that you say that, though, because my thought for who should go to the All-Star game,
Blackwood?
Mackenzie Blackwood. And I know there's probably a lot of better statistical goalies out there, right? But the fact that Mackenzie Blackwood is having a decent enough season on the last place team should be...
I'll get to that. You didn't see my notes yet, did you?
Oh, okay.
Should we get into it right now?
You got notes?
I do.
Okay.
We got
notes.
Since Thanksgiving,
Capo
Kahkonen has been having a season. More so than Blackwood.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Quick stats here. Blackwood's played 25 games to his 19, so he has a little bit more. 6 more games started or played. 899 save percentage to 913. It's 14 save percentage difference. 338 goals against to 298 goals against.
Okay.
That's almost a half a goal game.
Mm-hmm.
Goals against the average, goals scored above average. So this is, I'm messing this stat up.
Yeah, you are.
GSAA.
Yeah.
The goals expected, what is this? Goals saved above average. Thank you. So that is, it's finished. If you take all the goaltending. Now my voice is going out.
I told you, if you're new to the show, off the rails, okay? Sometimes this stuff happens. He's stumbling a little bit with what he even wrote down, and his throat is... Are you parched?
Yeah, just...
Loud talking?
All right. Try this again.
All right, let's do it again.
Goals saved above average. So if you take the whole league and you have the average of goals saved, this is what you're expected to be. You're supposed to be average. Are you above average or are you below average?
Right.
Right now, Blackwood is below average of 1.3.
Okay.
Kahkonen is above 5.62. He's stopping more than 5 goals that should be scored on him a game. Is it a game?
I don't think it's a game.
I think it's a game.
He's supposed to get...
He should be even worse. He's playing very good hockey right now. He's playing better than Blackwood. Blackwood's been playing great.
I think that's the takeaway. The takeaway is that Kahkonen has had a much better post-Thanksgiving run than Blackwood is what
Blackwood
you're saying.
had, granted they had that 10-game, 11-game skid in the very beginning. And then, they couldn't do anything. Blackwood was playing pretty well.
Yeah.
He was doing very well. Keeping them in games, whatever. But since Thanksgiving, he also got sick a little bit. He hasn't been playing as well as Kahkonen has. Kahkonen really stepped it up, and I'm just giving him some kudos here.
Yeah.
Since Thanksgiving, which has been a while, that's 25 games to 19 games.
Yeah,
that's
I think Robot 89 has it correct here, is that it's over the whole season, I think.
Okay,
so I think
over the whole season.
Yeah, so he should have had 5.6 more goals scored on him.
So far total.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to Blackwood has let in 1.3 more goals than, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
Yes.
Thank you for Robot
and just
89.
Just for juxtaposition here, Magnus Corona in his 2 games that he played.
Okay.
Minus 4.32.
Okay. Yeah, so
and he got lit up
bad.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he's been playing great. Kahkonen's been since Thanksgiving. That's been a while. Has really turned his season around, and this is why, into our next segue, into the next thing here, trades are coming. In fact, teams are noticing now about Kahkonen and Blackwood and some other players, Granlund, Mario Ferraro, a lot of guys that are, I don't want to say on the trading block, because to me this entire team is on the trading block.
I mean, basically, yeah, if you take a look.
I don't think anyone is not for sale.
Well,
maybe
Eklund.
Maybe.
No, not maybe.
Depending on the return.
No.
Mitch
Eklund
Marner
stays.
For Eklund?
No.
There is a price. There's a price for everybody. If Wayne Gretzky can get traded, anybody can get traded.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But no, they're not trading Eklund. Eklund stays.
Okay.
Right where he is.
Okay. Did you think the Philadelphia Flyers are going to trade today? Did you see that trade today?
No, what happened?
Oh my gosh. I put this in the notes. Didn't I?
What was his GSAA? The guy.
I hate you.
Hurry.
Oh my gosh, I hate you.
All right, so Aaron's looking up the what was the Philadelphia trade? Actually,
this was during the World Juniors. Cutter Gauthier got traded from Philadelphia to Anaheim.
Are you kidding me?
You didn't see all this drama?
I did not see this.
Wow, where have you been, man?
I've not been.
This all happened in like
there.
2 hours ago.
Okay, so that's why I was kids practice. That's why.
So Drysdale, who's also a very high-end prospect defenseman, offensive defenseman, there's a lot in Anaheim. There's kind of a logjam in Anaheim, hence Henry Thrun wanting to get out of there. A 25 second-round draft pick in Drysdale for Cutter Gauthier, who just finished up the World Juniors. Apparently, the drama's coming out. Philadelphia had a lot of trouble trying to meet with Gauthier at the World Juniors. The belief was he preferred to not play there, so the Flyers made the deal. Verbeek was trying to swing a deal to get another pick during that draft, which is 2022, to get him and couldn't get him. So that's obvious why he went there, but a big deal. And now it's kind of like, it's funny. I saw a Philadelphia feed, like their whatever Comcast in Philadelphia channel was.
Sure, yeah.
They had Scott Hartnell on, longtime Flyer.
Yeah.
And he was kind of ripping on him, saying, who are you as a rookie? You haven't even played in the NHL to say where you want to play and all this stuff. Like, come on. He made it quiet. He quietly asked to be moved. He didn't want to play for Philadelphia. He had his reasons. I don't know what they are. I don't know if anyone knows what they are. They moved him quietly. It was kind of a big deal. Like today, everyone's like, whoa, where did that come from, right?
Yeah.
Now, Philadelphia is airing out all the laundry after a done deal, right? Like, now they're just talking smack about him. I don't like that. To me, that organization is not classy. Sure, he wants out. You don't need to drag him in the dirt, especially a kid who's never even played in the NHL yet. That's just wrong, in my opinion. But that's a whole other issue. Anyone can get traded, is my point. This kid who just finished World Juniors.
Yeah, and he did really well.
Yes.
At World Juniors.
Very well.
That's very surprising to hear. But yeah, absolutely. If you were to tell me that they were going to trade Drysdale, I would have been like, I don't know why Anaheim would do that. Yeah, they have a logjam maybe at D, but that's a pretty promising young defenseman.
It is, but they got a very promising
absolutely
player in return.
They filled a need in that case, right? Yeah. But for the Sharks, I don't think they're filling a need so much as they need everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We need everything. So I don't see us moving Eklund. I personally don't. But
I don't either. But I also don't. I wouldn't be surprised if he was moved.
I'd be shocked to the core.
What if Eklund just goes, you know what? I don't like San Jose.
Oh,
it's
Nick.
Speaking of hot. It's too hot. I don't like it.
It's too hot?
In San Jose.
Okay. Speaking of juniors, what about our boy Will Smith? Nick wants to know. Nick, we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. Well, actually, it's almost an hour now. But we will be getting that to a little bit later on. Can we really be surprised that Philly is bullying the new kid? Fair point, Zephyr. And I think that's what Aaron's saying, is he doesn't like Philadelphia as an organization. Even the fan base is a little.
I don't even like Gritty.
Gritty.
I want to.
He's growing on me.
I don't like Gritty. I don't like Gritty.
That ugly orange bear.
It's too cocky for me. You're the new kid. You can't be this cocky. It's awful.
That's just shtick. He's got to be the cocky new kid.
Blah.
Yeah, okay, fine. So let's see. So we were talking about trades and that kind of thing. There are 14 current roster players on the Sharks that are on their last year of their contract. So next season, 14 of these guys could be gone. So we were talking about getting returns for players, and you're saying that basically anybody's on the trade block at this point. Well, I'm saying at least 14 of them are on the trade block because they will be UFA. So it makes sense to move any of these guys that you're not extending.
That's funny because Ferraro has been talked about a lot, right? And he's signed for another 2 seasons after this.
Wow.
So that's why if Ferraro's going, we're going to get a big return because his salary is so cheap.
Yeah.
It's so good for teams that are going to want him. Good teams that
on
are
a
going to want
good team. He's a great young depth defenseman who play the game defensively really well and block shots like not many other people in the league.
He's going to be your number one penalty killing defenseman, unless you already have a number one defensive defenseman. But yeah, he's going to be a great addition to anybody. And they don't have to move him. He's still young.
Yeah.
He's 25.
Now, 4 of those guys, I think, are on the IR right now, so there's only 10 currently active roster players. But the point was, that's a whole lot of players on this team that can get moved that we're not necessarily looking to re-sign or extend all of those guys, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot that could be coming back in return. Now, I don't think we're going to trade 14 players before the trade deadline, but I do think that it has the propensity to bring in either good draft picks or good prospects. Now, what I was going to have as the roll call question was, do you think that the Sharks should be looking for more draft picks, or should we be looking for prospects when trading these guys away? And so that was going to be my question to you guys. Now, please put that in the comments here in the live chat, because I am very interested in what you guys have to say and what you guys think about that. But I want to pass the question off to you. But before I do that, take note that Pittsburgh is currently sitting as the 15th worst team in the league. So they're just outside the playoff bubble, and it doesn't look like that's going to be in that top 10, right? Because that pick, then they can push it to the next season. So if it's outside of that top 10, we would get there first. So potentially a top 15 pick if it were to end right now today. Then there's our pick, right? Potentially top 3, all right? So if you have a top 3 already and you have a potentially top 15, right? 15th overall after that. New Jersey, I don't think New Jersey is going to end up giving us their first because I don't think it's going to shake out that Timo Meier plays half the games in the Eastern Conference Final for the banged-up New Jersey Devils, who are just inside the bubble.
Well, it's better to be banged up now than in March and April.
I agree.
So
I
they could
100%
be turning it
agree.
around, and they could be making playoffs. I'm not writing them off just yet.
But my point is...
They could also get a stud goalie.
They could. They're not going to because...
No, I'm not saying for the Sharks.
Oh,
saying
okay,
in general.
yeah.
In
Fair
general.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah. They wouldn't go and trade for Mackenzie Blackwood.
No.
They would,
No way. No, but I'm saying they could.
So
they could
bad.
be getting a goaltender. They could be getting
Sure.
other help and
Sure.
change things around between now and then.
Sure, they
I'm
could.
not writing them off just yet.
But I guess my point is, I don't think that New Jersey is going to be an Eastern Conference Final playoff team. That's my point.
I'm not counting on it.
Sure.
But I'm not ruling it out.
So that would mean that the Sharks potentially have a top 3 pick, a 15th-ish overall pick.
Who'd they pick this last season?
Who'd they
in
pick?
the last draft? With their
Smith?
second first-round pick.
Their second first-round pick.
Yes.
Musty.
Yes.
Yeah. Which
Turning out to be a good
great
player,
pick.
right?
Absolutely.
Think of someone like that, like
But-
not first line guy, but probably a second or third line.
Exactly. So now remember, the Sharks don't just want the number 1, number 2,
Right.
number 3 picks. They have tiers of players
And also-
that they're looking to get.
The timeline is different.
Yes.
The guys that are in the top 3 could play in the NHL like they are this season. The last top 3 picks of this last draft are currently in the NHL. Number 4 is Will Smith.
Yeah.
And he's not. He's playing in college. But most likely he'll be ready in a year. Next season, I mean.
Yeah.
So you kind of, depending on the draft year and how strong that draft class is, those guys kind of get timed out. So then Musty is probably going to be another season, I think. Not next season, but the one after. He'll probably be ready. Unless he pushes during training camp, has a great training camp, and forces the Sharks to possibly play him because he already signed his contract.
You got 14 guys coming off of that roster. I would not be shocked to see Musty step in and just say, yeah, I'm making this team.
Right. There's a chance. There's
absolutely.
A chance. So think of it, this upcoming draft,
Yeah.
think of that Pittsburgh pick is going to be hopefully someone like Musty. They're not going to be ready next season, but maybe in another year, possibly 2 from now.
But this draft, as you had said, isn't as strong as the previous draft. So in
But
the
that's
same
more of
position
like-
as Musty might not be that type of guy.
But that's more of like the depth. Like when you're getting in the later rounds, you're
Okay.
not getting as many guys as you would in possibly this draft. Or
So-
last year.
So again, I guess the question again would be, would you rather, knowing where we're probably going to get our picks from, okay, and where they're probably going to be, and the strength of the depth in the draft, and knowing that we've got all these guys are going to be UFA, and maybe not many of them care to resign in San Jose next season, do you think that the Sharks should be going after more draft picks? Or should we be going after more prospects? Because these guys are going to get traded. They're going to get traded, right? Not all of them, but some of them are going to be traded from the Sharks. And you're going to get something in return. What would you rather have? Would you rather have the prospect, the known quantity, in at least some way, shape, or form? Like a guy like Cutter Gauthier or whatever, right? You call him Gauthier. I think it's Gauthier, but I could be wrong.
Whatever.
Cutter, right?
Cutter.
If I could get Cutter, yeah, I'd be very happy.
If you could get a blue chip prospect that
Yes.
is possibly ready to make the jump, maybe you get it from a team like Anaheim that has a logjam at a certain position, and they're just trying to do good by that player, rather than having them buried and not making it to the show.
Yeah.
The return would be a little bit different. Maybe the Sharks would have to pay a little bit more to get someone like that, like as in sending another draft pick or something else.
Malachi Nunes wants to know, do we see Duclair traded by the deadline?
I think so.
I think so. I think he should get traded.
You know, my friends from Boston text me and saying, hey, what's with the Sharks trading with Boston? I heard they're doing something. I'm like, I don't really go into rumors because there's so much stuff out there and it's so dumb. So now I'm like, oh, well, he just hit the curious bug. Now I got to find out what he's talking about. And it was Duclair to Boston.
Yeah.
Because they need a goal scorer. A second, third line goal scorer, which is pretty much what he's at.
Okay.
So then I was like, oh, well, maybe there's some truth to that. Boston wanted to trade with San Jose.
And I wouldn't mind taking one of Boston's blue chip prospects.
Right.
You know, a guy that's maybe not going to see the lineup for a couple of years and wouldn't mind getting moved out of Providence, essentially, right? And coming over to play for the Sharks. With a strong young core that's going to be up and coming, in the next couple of years, being a part of that would be very interesting for a player.
Boston also does not have their first, second, or third round draft pick.
Oh, never mind.
This season.
Well, no, that's perfect. That's perfect.
They have first for 2025.
They have prospects, not picks.
Exactly. That's probably where we would see more.
You want to make that trade, you got to give us the prospect because you don't even have the pick.
Exactly.
I like that. I like it right now.
Yep.
I don't even know who they have, and I like it. Just saying. Good stuff. Okay, so I don't know how many. I'm not that impressed with Duclair either, Peter St. John. I don't know. I see spurts, but
But to me, he's a goal scorer. He's a scoring guy, and he's going to be in spurts. He's going to put string games together where he's going to score a goal. Like every other game, he's going to have a goal or two, and it's like, oh wow, this guy's great, and then he's going to kind of get quiet again. That's kind of what goal scorers do.
But I'm not even talking about the stats. I'm not even talking about him scoring goals or not. I'm talking about just kind of the way I see him play the game. It's kind of like we were talking about before with the goaltenders. You can look at the stats and go, man, these guys are terrible. They're on an 11-game losing streak for the second time this season. What horrible goaltending they have, right? Or you can watch the game and go, man, these guys are athletic. They're keeping the Sharks in every opportunity they can get. And most of the goals that go in has nothing to do with the guy wearing the pads. It's the guys, the 5 guys in front of him not doing a thing to help him out, right? So you can look at it 2 different ways. And I think for me, Anthony Duclair is that way. You can look at the fact that he's got a few goals under his belt on a pretty bad team. So, hey, good for you. Or you can watch the way he's playing the game and kind of go, man, I just kind of want a little bit more out of you. You know?
I get it. He doesn't bug me.
Okay.
I think he's to me, he's better than LeBanc. And
is that the bar, though? Is that the bar?
He's making $4.5 million.
I guess it's the bar. Fine. Jeez. We have no idea. Robotba 89. Am I saying that correctly? Robotba 89? I don't know. We don't know what Douglas Murray is up to, and I would love to have him come over and sit
Robot Bay
right here. Maybe it's Robot Bay. Yeah. I have no clue. That's kind of
Robot is Bay.
Let's not even go there. Okay. Are we done with that talk though? Because were there any good comments? You're the one with the comments. See.
So different topic comment, but sure.
Well, I mean about the prospects or versus picks and that kind of thing. I'm curious what everybody would like to see.
Well, going back to Robot Bay, how strong is Greer's 3-team trade game? Have we got a sample size yet on his ability to middleman assets from thin air? Did he do any of those yet? I can't remember if he did one last year or not.
I don't think he did.
To me, those kinds of trades are who you know more than anything. Because although the Sharks do have a very big asset in that they have a lot of cap space. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see that. There's only so many teams that have cap space right now. So hopefully the Sharks can get in on that deal because I love those. I love that, like, you're paying for a draft pick, essentially.
Yeah.
You're paying cap for a draft pick. So Greer tossed Bonino to the Pens and Habs to retain salary. So that he wasn't a 3-team trade deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Different topic here. Kellen Foster. I got to go to bed. Question. What do y'all think about the shorthanded goal jailbreaking the penalized player in the Women's League? I think it's awesome. Did you know that?
If you score a shorthanded goal, you get to go back to even strength.
Yep.
I like it, but I wouldn't introduce it into the NHL. It seems kind of like one of those like money puck in NHL.
I would do a full year in AHL. Test it out. That's your guinea pig, AHL.
Oh,
Use in the AHL. Do in the AHL. Those players will get used to it. Some of those guys get called up, whatever, they're kind of used to it. But it's a good guinea pig system because that league is a very good league, and you can see how it plays out and if it's good or bad. I think it'd be great because it promotes more goal scoring. It's going to have
promotes taking the chance.
Exactly, which opens up the ice.
Yeah.
So you're going to see shorthanded guys who are shorthanded are going to go for the goal.
Yeah.
If they miss, it's going to come back the other way, just like in overtime when you see the 3-on-3 and it's back and forth. That's what I feel like it would happen.
Yeah.
And you'd see both more power play goals and more shorthanded goals. It's a win-win in my book. Goalies probably hate it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, is it maybe a little? I don't know, gimmicky. Maybe. I mean, I kinda like. It was never a rule before, obviously. So it's just kind of adding something in there. But I think it does have good implications for what it could mean for gameplay. I think it would be more exciting.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, the NHL, you had to serve the full 2 minutes, no matter what.
Oh, really?
And then they changed the rule because Montreal was so stacked that they kept scoring 3-4 goals on every power play. So they made it so that your guy would come out when the power play was over. So rules can change. The NHL changes stuff all the time.
There you go.
I don't see it's a bad thing. I see it as only a win-win. I don't see any negatives to it.
It could be a very interesting change. And thank you for the history lesson there. I wish we had the stuff the more you know, but we'll have to figure that one out. Maybe it'll show up right down here at some point. Who knows?
Better than clowns.
Better than clowns. I don't know. I don't know if it's better than clowns. Okay, let's move on. World Juniors. This was he's doing the clowns. World Juniors. We've been following this and we've been kind of giving updates and whatnot, mainly because throughout the tournament, 6 Sharks prospects were playing for 4 different teams: USA, Canada, Sweden, Finland. And so those players, we were trying to track them and seeing how they were doing is just kind of a source of pride as a Sharks fan, seeing the prospects doing well at World Juniors. So the way this one went, there was a bronze medal game between Czechia and Finland. Now, unfortunately, Team Canada was eliminated from the tournament, so we'll just start there with Jake Furlong. He only had 5 games played. And the last time we talked about him, he had 3 games played and he was a +4. 5 games played, ended up with the +4. But he did get a goal.
Did I not tell you Canada was not strong?
Yeah,
I said Celebrini was their top player, and they didn't have enough. Mainly because the 3 guys that just got drafted in this last year were in the NHL.
Are in the NHL.
Yeah. So a lot of guys, they couldn't come play.
Right. So that's surprising that still, I understand Canada wasn't very strong, but Canada just always has a solid crop of players that are always competing, and for them to not even make it into the semis was
great.
Unfortunate.
It's great.
You don't like them?
Well, they won 3 in a row. I think it's time to not win.
Break it up.
Yeah. Or was it 5 in a row? I think it was 5.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No.
Just too much. Come on.
Well, anyway, so Canada was done out of the picture.
Yeah, Bedard and Fantilli weren't available. Imagine if they were on the team, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
They would have
Bedard, Fantilli, and Celebrini. Mm-hmm. Good luck. So anyway, Canada did not make it into the semis. However, the bronze medal game again was between Czechia and Finland. Finland, of course, having Kasper Halttunen on team. Last week we talked about him, and so this week he had 7 games played, 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points, and unfortunately, that is no change from last week, which was, I think, 3 games ago.
Yeah.
So I think he had 4 games played, same stats. So he went 3 more games, big games, right? The semifinal game and the bronze medal game, and did nothing. So it's really unfortunate to see a player that I was really pumped and jazzed about to go 3 straight games in where there's medals to be won, and he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I was very sad, but oh well. Anyway, that's for Team Finland. Let's see. Oh yeah, I want to say about that game, by the way. Czechia tied the game. Finland was up 5-2 in the second period.
Wow.
And Czechia tied the game with less than 2 minutes left in the third period. Less than 2 minutes. Now, they scored again, and they scored 2 empty netters, and they scored 4 total goals in 50 seconds, which is a World Junior record. 4 goals in 50 seconds.
I would think that would be an NHL record.
I think it's an anywhere record, frankly.
That's
I mean,
incredible.
Beer League, I don't think you score 4 goals in 50 seconds. That's bonkers. Now, granted, the last 2 were empty netter, and actually the last one was literally win the face-off. Unfortunately, the fin on the, I think it's his left wing, falls down like right off the face-off, and so they just blow right past him, and just a shot from like the blue line that goes in. So that one was like 2 seconds.
It's like our kids' games.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So no, it was nuts, absolutely nuts. They scored 4 goals in just 50 seconds. Again, only 2 of them empty netters, but still, that's just bonkers to me. So so congratulations to Czechia for getting the not first, but they got a bronze medal. So there you go. So good for them. Not so good for Team Finland. However, the gold medal game was between Team USA and Team Sweden. This one, Team USA, I don't want to say cruised, but a 6-2 victory over Team Sweden. Pretty convincing. Now, the thing here was that, and I talked about this before with, I think it was the Winnipeg game.
Yeah.
Will Smith had a shot pass. I cannot remember who it was to. Nick HBK is going to say, he's going, oh, come on, guys. But it was a shot pass.
Do that again?
That was this. I could have done it with it. You want me to do it with a Finnish accent? I could do it that way too.
Terrible. I thought you did.
So anyway, he does this shot pass, and it's, again, just one of these things where he claps it low, hard, wide of the net deliberately right to the tape, and it's just not, you don't even have to shoot it. You just angle the stick.
Yeah.
And some of these guys have the nerve to just kind of give it a little tap, But if it just hits your stick, it's going in, So anyway, I just thought it was awesome. It was that same type of play that you saw at the NHL level that these guys who play together in college are able to execute something like this at World Juniors. It was just really cool. So
Gabe Perreault.
It was Perreault. There you go. It was really cool seeing him do that one there. And then he actually had another assist in that game, but it was I wouldn't say but it was a face-off win that went straight across, and defenseman just clapped it and just boom, goal. So he got 2 assists in that gold medal game. For me, looking at Will Smith's stats, 7 games played, 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. He was 5th on the team in scoring. It's not horrible, but gosh, for a 4th overall pick, I would have hoped that it'd be just a little bit higher, especially since the other guys we just talked about, like Bedard, for instance, not even in the tournament, right?
He did get better as he went along. In fact, the announcer said Will Smith was playing out of his mind in the championship
and
game.
Every article said that, Smith shines and everything else, and I'm like, yeah, but they're also Bay Area articles, so I don't know.
But the announcer of the game, who has no skin in the game for any NHL team, was saying how great he was playing. He was the best player on the ice on both teams.
I hope that I'm just.
I would rather it that way than him starting off hot and then ending at the championship and
like
just disappearing.
Like Halton disappearing. Right. Okay. Fair enough. But I guess for me, I was just a little underwhelmed.
You wanted dominance.
I wanted dominance, okay? I wanted it to be the slap heard around the world from Will Smith. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I wanted him to be much more dominant on the score sheet, not just the way he was playing the game. Obviously, to me, it's more important that you're dominating in your play, and the goals will happen eventually. It doesn't have to go in right now, whatever. I'm just saying I would have liked to seen the whole package. I would like to seen him play out of his mind, but also be rewarded on the score sheet for those efforts. And there's plenty of other guys on that team.
But I like that he took it to another level in the playoffs and the championship especially.
Okay.
To me, that's more important.
Fair enough, but I think there are guys on that team that took it to another level as well. I can't remember his last name, unfortunately.
So obviously he did very well if you can't remember his name.
How did Howler?
Isaac Howard?
No, Howard. Thank you. Howard. He stepped it up.
Samsonite.
We were way off. He was phenomenal in that game. He got goals.
He got 2.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It's 2 more than Will Smith got. Same amount of points. But I'm just saying I would have liked to see a little bit more dominance from the 4th overall pick going and playing against teenagers.
Peter St. John said, Professor Hockey, nice podcast there, by the way, pointed out that Will Smith is on the young side. Apparently the World Juniors team tend to emphasize 19-year-olds as their last time at the World Juniors. And he's only 18. So he was a freshman among sophomores.
Okay. I'm just saying he's a 4th overall. Okay, the skill level should be by comparison to other players. Now, granted, they're a year older than him. Okay, I get it, but he was a 4th overall. I want to see more. I wish the tournament lasted longer. Frankly, I would like to see more.
I'm glad he wasn't on the Sharks this season because he needs to develop more.
100%.
There you go.
So. There you are. Not much else I wanted to say about Will Smith necessarily. But Eric Polkamp, again, 7 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists. No change from last week when we talked about him again.
Well, Kellen, going back to Smith real quick.
Yes.
Smith was part of the USA shutdown line matching against the opposing best. So maybe you could think of him more like a Logan Couture.
All right, fair enough.
A shutdown two-way defense or center.
Against teenagers, buddy. I want more. I don't care.
And he only had 14 minutes a game.
Only had 14 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, fine.
I'm out here defending Will
Fine.
Smith here.
Fine. Sharks, Oregon. You go and look at the stats. Try to throw it in my face. Is that what we're doing here? I thought we were all friends.
Maybe you should get a laptop.
Oh, I don't need a laptop. I just talk. It's fun.
It's true. It doesn't stop.
Let's see. Anything else? Oh, Sweden. Sweden got silver because they lost to the U.S., right?
Right. Havlid had an assist in that game.
On that team, yes. Philip Beested and Havlid. Havlid got an assist in that game?
He did. On their first goal.
So
it tied the game up.
On the tournament, 7 games played, he had 1 goal, 5 assists for 6 points. Almost point per game. Pretty solid for a defender.
Yep.
And then Philip Beested, unfortunately, again, 7 games played, 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. No change. Since we last talked about him. So a couple guys that, again, really wished
he was a late first-round pick.
See, here we go again.
I'm just like,
how old is he, Aaron? Is he 16 or what?
No, but he's like 6'4".
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's a big man.
He's a big guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway.
I'm not looking too much into this stuff. It's great.
I am.
It's fun to see. Watch the prospects.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
But that's not their ceiling, is my point. So I'm not worried.
Oh, Robot Bay or what? Are we saying it right? Can you put it like in phonetics, like Robot Babe or whatever? When Will Smith lifts the cup and they stick the mic in his face, he will reference this stream tonight and those comments. I hope so, because sometimes you need motivation from more than people pumping you up. You need people pushing you, like me. Okay, Uncle Paul.
He didn't say when he lifts the cup for the Sharks, though.
Wow, that's rude. See. Let's just get to the upcoming games.
I'm just saying.
Good Lord.
He didn't say it.
Upcoming games. Aaron, go ahead. I've been talking a lot. My voice is going to get worse, just like yours. So
4 games. 4 games are on a road trip right now, and they're heading to the Northeast. So Toronto tomorrow night. It's at 4 p.m. our time. So a back-to-back, which is kind of rare to see for an East Coast team, home and home. I wouldn't be surprised to see some fireworks. I think the Sharks are going to come out pretty pissed off, and they always seem to play well in Toronto because there's a lot of guys from Toronto area. So they usually have a lot of family and friends and hanging out. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and win this one. I'm not going to say they are. Thursday, Montreal at 4 p.m. This is a game that they could win here.
Okay.
Much weaker team than Toronto. Saturday in Ottawa, yet another game that is a possible win. And then Monday at Buffalo at 10 a.m. That's an early one. That's Martin Luther King Day. So it's a Monday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So be sure to wake up and watch that one.
Yeah.
It's like football. It's like the early game for football. It starts at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the games. So 4 games for this week.
So you're thinking they'll have a stronger showing against Toronto, despite the fact that their captain, who is also from Toronto, is not going to be there.
I will say they will not lose all 4 games. I don't know which one they'll win. I don't know how many they'll win, but I'm going to say they're not going to lose all 4 games.
Okay.
They're not going to extend it to where are they at 10 right now? 14.
No, they're at 11.
Oh, they're at 11?
They're at 11.
Oh, they're at 11? 15 games?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hope they don't make the history books.
I'll tell you what, it's not going to stop at 11. That's my take. It ain't stopping at 11. Now, maybe we beat Montreal. I don't know. Maybe we beat Ottawa. I don't know.
What if?
Oh, boy.
They go on a 4-game winning streak and we get cookies.
It's 7 games, first of all.
Dang it.
And I don't think Debbie's even on right now. I haven't seen a single comment from Debbie. So, for those of you who don't know, if the Sharks go on a 7-game win streak, Debbie's going to make us cookies. So, we're never going to see cookies. It's not going to happen, buddy.
I like cookies.
I'm going to say that they win the Montreal game.
Okay.
I'm going to say they win the Montreal game. They lose everything else.
I mean, Buffalo's not doing very well.
But you see, and you could say that, but you remember the Sharks aren't doing very well.
Right.
So it's
just for reference, Ottawa is only 7 more points than the Sharks.
Okay.
Buffalo is only
7 more points, but they've only got 35 games played.
Oh, that's true. So they're at 400.
And we're at 40.
percentage.
So they've played
Sure.
5 less games than we have. And they have 7 more points.
Buffalo's not doing too well. They're almost 500 team. Montreal is a 500 team.
Okay.
Those guys are bottom 10.
You know what? Montreal shot up in the standings then because they were in the bottom 3 for a while.
5-4-1. Okay. Yeah, a little bit. Not terrible.
Okay.
They're winning, I guess, 5-4-1.
Yeah, what's the Sharks' last 10 again? Sorry, last 11 again?
I don't remember. It's weird to see the L11 here.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Losing streak.
Oof.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't think they lose every game this road trip. I think we start off and we increase the streak to 12 though.
You know who has shot up?
Who?
And we were dumping on them earlier in the season.
Anaheim?
Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, Edmonton. Yeah.
They're on a 7-game winning streak right now.
Ooh.
You know what happened? McDavid got healthy.
Oh, okay.
He said point per game. Oh, this is terrible. I'm off. I need to go 2 points per game.
Yeah.
He's been on a tear.
Can you
lately.
imagine again if they had Mackenzie Blackwood?
Or better defense, like Mario Ferraro.
But even the Sharks don't have better defense, so and they're doing a really great job. If they had the goal support that they had that McDavid could give them, the Sharks wouldn't be losing this many games. Flat out.
Let's talk about Buffalo real quick.
Okay.
How long has Buffalo been in a rebuild? They already went through Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
As the second overall pick next to McDavid, right?
Yep.
Like any other year, he's the number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
He's already been traded. Like they were rebuilding around him and already got rid of him.
They were rebuilding before him. They rebuilt
Right.
to get him, and then they're rebuilding, and they're using him as part of their rebuild.
They tanked to get McDavid and settled for Eichel.
Yeah.
And they're still tanking. They still got Rasmus Dahlin, who was the first overall pick.
Oh, man.
They still can't make playoffs. They're still the bottom of the league.
Yeah. That's rough.
Is that where you want the Sharks to be?
No.
Do you think that's where they will be?
No.
Chicago, kind of the same thing. I think they're going to be down in the dumps for a little while, even with Bedard, a healthy Bedard. I don't know. To me, I think the Sharks are... Buffalo's ahead of them. Should be ahead of them.
Yeah.
They just, for some reason, maybe it's too cold in Buffalo. I don't know. It's just weird in Buffalo. Buffalo's weird. They haven't really been good since Michael Pekka was on the team.
Speaking of the Buffalo game, there's another game against Buffalo that is the Pride Night game, right?
Yes.
We're going to promote this one too.
Yes.
Now, this is not the same game because this is the one we're talking about is in Buffalo, and the Pride Night game against Buffalo is at home. So I know you've got a lot of information on this one. Go ahead and just let them know everything.
This game is on Saturday, January 27th, and it's an early game. I think it's a 1 p.m. start time. From 11 to 12:30 at the AC Hotel in downtown San Jose, there's a no-host bar and a restaurant. There's going to be a pregame drag show, DJ, and special guests. You can park at San Pedro Square, walk to the hotel, and then head to Head to SAP for the 1 p.m. game. And it is a theme night. It's Pride Night, or day. Even though it says night, Pride Day, Pride Night. The theme
11
is,
a.m., yeah. So.
Yeah, well, 1 p.m. Reversible Sharks Pride bucket hat. This thing is pretty cool. Apparently, the 90s are back. I don't know if you knew this, Paul. You need a new hat, and the bucket hat is in. Do you remember the kangaroo ones? The white furry bucket hats like that? You don't remember that?
No, thankfully.
Jeez, man. You lived through the 90s.
Oh, yes. That's all you had to say.
You don't remember the late...
That's all you had to say was Jamiroquai.
Right. The late 1900s? You don't remember that?
The late 1900s.
We survived. We lived in that time. Anyway.
That's one way to say it. Yeah, it's good.
Going back to this. Okay, sorry. Stay after the game. There's going to be an on-ice photo, which we did... Was this last year or was this 2 years? I think it was 2 years
You guys
ago.
were there last year, I think, and we were all there 2 years ago.
It was last year.
I think.
Yeah, so we're somewhere in that picture. I think we're near the flag.
Probably.
It's tiny. I can't see it. 35 of the 100-plus tickets are sold so far. I will be buying mine. I haven't done it yet, but I will. Super producer Jason has already bought his, right? Yeah, he's already gone. So me and Jason will be there. I don't know if you are going to make it this year. Probably depends on your kids.
Yeah.
Because it's a day game.
Yep.
The tickets range from $33 to $73. 33 is in the upper level and 73 is in the lower level at $126. And a portion of each ticket purchased through the link down below, I think we'll have it in the info. Silicon Valley Pride. It will go to Silicon Valley Pride. So a portion of each ticket will go to that.
And for those on the podcast, it's sjsharks.com/SVPrideSJSharks.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
No worries. I just want to make sure that we're including everybody.
Peter St. John bucket hats are just awful. I wouldn't wear one, but I do think they're cool.
I would wear that.
I think it's pretty cool.
I would wear that. That's cool. I like it.
I would wear it and I go, oh, I look really silly. And then everyone would be like, oh, you're really, I like your fashionable hat, dude. It looks awesome. No, nobody says that. Nobody says that.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. I'm probably give it to my kids because I'm sure they would like it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And my kids are little, so whatever. I think it's cool. It's a cool thing to have. Maybe we'll get some extras and we'll be able to.
I would love to get some extras, actually.
Yeah,
That'd be
do
good.
some promos with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, be on the lookout for that, along with our jerseys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
can't reach it. You
I'll
got
get this one. Yeah. Is there another one down there or no?
No, it's buried under here somewhere.
Anyway, so we're going to do a giveaway. We keep saying that, but it's going to happen. I'm going to cover my face. So this is the holiday sweater jersey that they had. Oh yeah, there you go. Some giveaways, and that's one of the things we're going to be doing. We also have a bunch of baubles and things. I don't know if we're going to give them away or whatever, but we have lots of stuff. And eventually we'll be doing some giveaways for you guys because we like you. And
the Warriors mashup.
There you go. That's a good one.
There we go. This was last season? Maybe
a couple
2 seasons ago?
maybe.
Yeah. We have a bunch of stuff.
If you missed out back when that was available, we'll see if we can't help you out with that. So there you are. The next giveaway coming up, correct me if I'm wrong, is the soccer one.
That just happened.
That just happened.
Yeah, that was on Saturday. Bay FC, which is the Women's League, National Women's Soccer League, and NWSL.
Okay.
They are going to be the new team that's going to be playing at the same Earthquake Stadium. And their season is starting, I think it's the same time as Earthquakes, March to October. And Brandy Chastain, Danielle Slayton, there's 2 other ones, Allie Wagner and some other one. They are all Bay Area natives, and they all played for the women's national team, won some World Cups. I'm sure you've heard of them. Yeah. Probably not you, but...
I think Allie Wagner was in the same kind of class as my sister, actually.
Yes, she was the same year as your sister, and went to Perez and played soccer there. Same with Danielle Slayton is another one. So they are usually actually on the broadcast. So if you watch any women's leagues or the World Cup, you'll see them on the broadcasts. They're good color commentators.
Very cool. Okay. Any other comments that are flowing through?
Robot BA just said stuff. Because he saw all of our stuff. Oh, Scotty K said, "Hey boys, I think he just joined us. Good timing. We're about to."
Oh, Scott. How are you, Scott? It's good to see you, buddy. Better late than never. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Or?
Nope. Oh, he did pronounce his name. He said it was never designed to be said out loud, so you guys get to decide how it's said.
I'm going to go with Robot Bay just because it's ridiculous.
I think it's funny. Robot Bay. It rolls off the tongue a little better. Zinksy asked if that was my bobblehead. Yes. And... Oh, not me.
It could be your bobblehead.
It could be your bobblehead, though. This is Mike Greer, the one they did last season, where he is... If you can go to my camera. There you go.
Can you take that out of the box, please?
It's not in the box. It's already out. Okay,
so can you see that? Yeah, you see that image, guys? I have nothing against Mike Greer, and I think he does a great job as GM, and I thought he was a heck of a hockey player in his day. That is the ugliest bobble I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know where it went.
That split...
I don't know where you put it. Somewhere right
that
here.
Split down the middle. So I don't know.
Yeah. I can't see.
What's going on there?
So bright.
I would have just as soon had just 2 separate bobbles. One standing right next to each other on the same platform.
Describe it.
But
half and half.
Well, I showed it on the picture here.
It's half suit, half shark jersey, or half shark uniform for the folks on the podcast that don't need to have their eyes bleeding looking at this thing. I'm sorry. I'm not. It doesn't resonate with what I want out of a bobble. the half and half is not
fun.
Working
I don't
for
really
me.
Care.
I'm just saying.
I think it's different and cool.
Whew. Okay. Well,
I like it because he has the same haircut.
Same as you.
It's pretty much what I would look like if I were a bobble.
Yeah. Hopefully not wearing half one thing and half another. Regardless, I think we've certainly gone quite off the rails enough for multiple shows. Now, here's the thing. We would be back on
next
Monday.
Week. Right.
However, I will be in Orlando, Florida, with my kids doing some hockey tournaments. So
fun.
I'm stoked. I can't wait because we're gonna go a little early. We're gonna do some Universal, do some Disney, and then we're just gonna go and play some hockey. It's gonna be a really good time. It'd be really nice to be able to play against some teams that aren't from San Jose.
Oh, that's gonna suck if you go all the way over there and you play a team that you always play in California.
Mashes. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, if you play the same team, I know for sure. So definitely looking forward to doing that. However, again, does mean that I will not be here on Monday. So I don't know if we're going to have a guest host, if you're going to have an interview, or if we're just going to wait until like Wednesday to do the show. But one way or another, something will be coming to you guys. But this is, again, one of those perfect times for you to hit the subscribe button and make sure... What?
Nothing.
You like the time?
Just go. You're flowing. Go.
Okay. It's a great... I am flowing. It's a great time right now for you to hit that subscribe button because we don't know. We even don't know when the next one will be.
We don't.
But it will be sometime in the next 7 to 10 days.
Maybe you could let us know.
Yeah, you let us know when you guys are doing the show. No. But yeah, if you guys hit the subscribe button, would really appreciate it. That way you already know when we're going to be going live. And you can just jump in and be a part of the show. And is there anything else that we wanted to let them know? I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so there you go. Visit thefinfactor.com if you'd like to support the show. We do appreciate that. Hats, shirts, stickers for the toaster. Aaron, the toaster, Aaron. Sweatshirts, hoodies, all that kind of stuff. There's a toaster with no sticker on it. We got to fix that, guys. So if you would like to support the show and get something in return, that is the best way to do that. She's got the sticker on the water bottle. We don't sell Yeti water bottles, apparently, but just stickers are there. So anyway, if you guys could do that, would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you can go ahead and share, that's the other thing. Please, I appreciate the support in the show and everything else. The comments are awesome. Love it. Makes the show a lot of fun. But the more we share it to other Sharks friends and family, the more people we get in here and the more fun we can possibly have. So if you guys can do that, would certainly appreciate it. You also want to plug Spotify.
Yes. If you have Spotify, find us on there and listen to us on there if you prefer. But we're trying to boost those numbers, so get those numbers up.
Very good. Okay. I think that is
I think this is our longest stream.
It's an hour 40, isn't it? I was at the last CUDA game and saw a dude with a Fin Factor hat. Yes! Was that you guys? Were you at the CUDA game?
Not recently. We were there in December.
What was his name? Bandit something?
Yeah.
Booty Bandit?
Booty Jesus.
Okay, Mr. Bandit, you could be as cool as the person that you just saw at the Barracuda game. You just got me off guard. There's the clowns. There they go. Jeez. So you can do the same thing that guy did. Head over to finfactor.com and pick up that hat. Same one that I'm wearing right here. And there it is. So if you like that, then you too can partake.
I went to a Sharks game last season, and I sat next to somebody, and she looked at my hat. She goes, "Where did you get that hat?" I was like, "Oh, it's my podcast."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, that's amazing. Can you find it for me? Or can I get one?" I was like, "Yeah, just go to our website. Here's our website, whatever." 5 minutes later, go by, whatever. She turns to me with her phone. She goes, "Is this it?" And she pulled it up on her phone, the website, and she bought it right there. And she goes, "I just bought it." And then my phone dinged because we got the sale. And I was like, "Oh my God, she actually did buy the hat." So there's some lady that sits in row 3 behind the net that has one of our hats. I saw her again. She was not wearing it. Maybe she gave it away to someone.
She probably bought it as a gift, which is a great idea.
It was pretty cool.
Although it's late for Christmas, it's a great idea. Fin Factor gear for all your Sharks fans. Anyway, yes, I think we are well beyond. So, Aaron, if there's nothing else?
Nope.
For Super Producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
sometime next week.
We don't know. Hit the subscribe button and you'll know. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.